Great way to start the video, guys. Hey,
So
welcome to the very first Co-Brothers Taekwondo podcast. My name is William.
I'm Joseph.
I'm Micah.
How's everyone doing today?
Pretty good.
Pretty good here, over here too. Had a good night's sleep, some good food.
We have a new guest, our very first guest on our show,
Featuring
The Fly.
Fly.
All right, so
How are you, Will?
I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here. So today, for our very first podcast, we're going to talk about Kung Fu Panda.
Very exciting stuff.
Micah, for those who don't know what Kung Fu Panda is, please explain.
Right, so the story of Kung Fu Panda, believe it or not, it's about a panda.
It's crazy.
Yes. So this panda grows up in a small town in China called the Valley of Peace. And he dreams about the Furious Five, the great five warriors of that timeline. He goes there, seeing them because one of them is supposed to be chosen as the great dragon warrior. But turns out he kind of trips and falls, and he's chosen to be the dragon warrior. So the movie's about him trying to find purpose, see if he should or shouldn't be the dragon warrior. And by the end of the movie, he then decides, is he or is he not?
How does it end?
How does it end?
Whoa,
Now
spoiling
see,
the movie.
I don't know if I can say that. You might have to watch that yourself.
They're not currently sponsoring us, so we don't have to worry about that.
How does it end?
How does it? You
Yeah.
don't know how it ends?
I know how it ends.
Oh, you
I
know how
want
it
to see
ends?
if you know how it
You
ends.
tell me how it ends.
I'm going to see if you know how it ends.
Ladies first.
Alright. So if I remember correctly, something along the lines of the bad guy. What's the bad guy's name?
Tai Lung.
Tai Lung, yes. Tai Lung, he's a what is, he's not a tiger.
He's a snow leopard.
Yes, he's a snow leopard. And anyway, at some point in the movie, he tries to do like the move, where he hits him with this and he hits him with that, but it just doesn't work on Poe because Poe's the dragon warrior. And I'm pretty sure Poe sits on him. And I'm pretty sure that's how it ends. And he wins.
Clearly, we know this movie very well. Anyways, favorite character
Favorite
and
character.
why?
Why don't you start? You haven't said nothing yet.
You're right. I should start. I like Tai Lung. The reason why, I just like the character arc of who he is and like the reason why he's that way, right? So with Tai Lung, his entire purpose of who he was, like from the time he was brought in by Master Shifu, was to be the Dragon Warrior. And then when he finally gets to like his peak, he gets told no. And he responds as literally like most people in the world would, with anger and resentment, right? And his entire story arc is the fact that he was up here and his fall from grace went all the way down to like basically below the bottom of the ground because he went to all the way in like that jail that they had him in. And then him clawing his way back up to being on the top. So as someone who's gone through like a lot of things like that, where it's like, okay, I've been at the top and then been bumped down to the bottom again, I can find my way up. Maybe not in the same manner or way, but I relate the most to Tai Lung just because I think he's the character who everyone's just kind of like. Your turn.
Right, so my favorite character is complete opposite as Williams. Mine's actually Poe. Now, it's maybe a little because he's the main character. You can say I'm biased, but at the same time, other reason is because of the kind of person he is. For those of you who've seen the movie, Poe is this really kind-hearted, gentle soul. He's a panda. Not much scariness to him. With him, especially in the movie, he's always constantly being looked down upon, especially by the Master Shifu. He always has to compare himself to the others, being like, I can't do what they do. I'm not as good as them. Why am I the Dragon Warrior? Why am I here? I can relate the most to this because in my life, I've always had greater people above me that I've had to try to match. Yes, this cutie.
Okay. For me, I don't know. For me, it's like a toss-up between two. And I don't know, I have a hard time choosing which one is my favorite. They're both very different characters. The first one, I think, I'm going to go a little different here, and I'm going to say Tigress. she always seemed to be like the leader of the team that was kind of really trying to take on the mantle, really before Poe had even entered the scene. And what's really funny is that you see how impatient that team, and I think especially Tigers, get with Poe, just because he's dragging them down, and she's just trying to stay laser focused on accomplishing the mission. And I just remember liking that character. Like, yup, I like this character. Also, completely non-related to all of that is Poe's father.
Mr. Peen.
Yes. And it's honestly just the part where he's just the noodle dream, Poe, the noodle dream, because he's he wants his son to kind of take on the family business. And instead, Poe decides to become the Dragon Warrior. I don't know. I always just thought that character was hilarious. So nice addition to the movie.
And I agree with Mr. Ping being like an amazing character, because the entire what I find really cool about Kung Fu Panda, all the movies, which we'll talk about in another video, is that especially in the first one, it's all about the goal. What is the goal? Where's the end point? Where can I reach the highest point? Right, for with Mr. Ping as an example, what's his ultimate goal? To make noodles and keep making noodles, and then pass that mantle on to Poe. What's Poe's main goal and focus? His is kind of more in the dark, because this is where we get that, that fight in his soul, where it's oh, should I make noodles with my father, or should I go and become the Dragon Warrior? And the easier option would have been making noodles with his dad.
Right.
And then the harder option, which is trying to learn Kung Fu, which guess what, he has no idea how to do. It's just been a dream. Which is why I would say for my second favorite character would have been Poe too. Just with that idea of oh, should I choose the easier option, or should I choose the harder option? Now, with that being said, everything in it, everyone has their indirect goal that you already know, right? With Tigers being the next leader, Shifu trying to train the next
Potential
next leader, and then with Master Uwe trying to teach Shifu, and then with all of them just trying to get at the highest realm of their individual art. So I think it's really cool in that movie, just seeing where everyone's goals are oriented, and everyone being at odds with another, even though everyone's ultimate goal is the same thing.
It's actually crazy how often you see that in society. People of all different kinds of backgrounds and religions and characters and places of the world, they can all have a common goal, and sometimes it's actually hilarious. Well, sometimes it's not hilarious, but to see how we can, all of people, and as a society, and even as a country or in a community, can have a shared idea. We all have we all want to see what's good for ourselves and for our fellow man and everything, and it's sometimes it feels all we're doing is we're clashing our heads because we all have different ideas on how we want to get that mission accomplished.
And then I agree, going kind of what this podcast will be about is just kind of relaying things that we see from movies, just life, martial arts, into what we do as a group of people. That's something, not to get into anything crazy like that, but yeah, I fully agree with that statement. It's crazy how everyone wants basically the same thing, but the ways we want to get there are starkly different. For instance, just here in our school, we have other schools who want to teach Taekwondo, who want to teach gymnastics, parkour, who want to teach a whole bunch of things that we want to teach, but we as a business and as a school and all the other schools are okay, we want all these students. We need the funding to be able to open up and do bigger and better things. So at the end of the day, we're still at a conflict of where we want to be, even though we all have the same mission and goal.
What do you think about that, Micah?
What do I think about it?
Yeah, just all these people, basically just piggybacking off what he just said, how for instance, me with my acrobatics, you're coming in with you're the master here, you're the Taekwondo master, and everything that Will has, and that Yari's even bringing in potentially. So I don't know, just with that coming together.
Right, so with the movie Kung Fu Panda, for those of you who don't know, the Furious Five are 5 completely different animals. You got a snake, monkey, crane, tiger, and a, what was it?
Praying mantis.
Praying antics. Can't forget the little guy. Each of them are kind of styled across the 5 different styles of Kung Fu. All of them completely different from each other. It's kind of how we're coming along. All of us have different things. We're not exactly the same, but together we can make something better. Better? I mixed better and bigger.
Better?
Yes.
They said, never mind.
Bigger and bitter is better. Right?
No. No. But, like, no, like, I get your point with it, right? But my thing is more like with the main kind of characters. Like, right, the Furious 5 has their own goal of being like to be able to defend the valley, right? Poe has his goal of becoming the Dragon Warrior. Master Shifu's goal is to train the next Dragon Warrior. Master Wu is to pass all knowledge to Master Shifu. Tai Lung wants to reclaim his high positioning in the Furious 5 or just becoming the Dragon Warrior period and just gain the knowledge from the scroll. And then Mr. Ping just trying to make noodles, and then yeah, those are basically the main groups of people besides all the little extra characters, right?
You also have who is it Master Shifu, who passes down the mantle pretty much in the first movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
He passes down the mantle immediately to his student, and you see that kind of emotional experience there where it's very personal. It can be very emotional, but you see this personal moment where he literally hands it to his student, and then he vanishes, and it's like, to a certain degree, I also feel like we're all kind of in that boat a little bit. Myself, for very different reasons, I feel like for you guys, because you guys have had what was your master's name?
Grandmaster Zhang.
Grandmaster Zhang, right? And so I feel like, to a certain degree, I almost feel like you guys are almost kind of carrying that on, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, and I like that because, like, honestly, like, and also like the way, like, now thinking back to the movie, right, is that, like, Master Oogway literally just kind of was like, here you go, good luck.
Yep.
And we're not saying that we're in the same boat. We're kind of almost like looking at it now from like that kind of perspective. Like, we're kind of in the same boat, especially like for those who don't know. We just opened, and this is like our first podcast. We haven't actually fully done our grand opening. That'll be happening in
2 days.
2 days on October 4th of 2025. Today is what?
October 2nd.
October 2nd of 2025. So we're actually 2 days early into doing this, but anyways. So, like, situation that happened with us, right, with everything that happened just since this is our first video, and for those who aren't tracking on it, so with the old school, Zhang's Taekwondo in Belvedere, it just closed down, like, what, 3 months ago?
About 3 months, I'd say.
About 3 months ago. 2 months ago, me and Master Mike here were in discussions of opening up our own school. With that, with Jung's immediate close down from previous bad management outside of Jung's, me and Master Mike here said, let's open up our own. And we brought on our head instructor, Joseph, and within 18-ish days from us saying, yes, let's do this, we had our entire school built, right? And now we have our grand opening coming, and we're doing things like the podcast just because we want to talk about our experiences and just find things that relate to us. So, with that being said, the fact that Master Ube was like, here you go, Shifu, good luck. I personally feel like I can understand how Master Shifu was just like, huh? What? What am I supposed to do? You just gave me this like entirely like new task without any like task to be given. Just like, what am I supposed to do? And Master Wu was like, you'll figure it out. I'm gonna go rest forever. I'm gonna retire. So, yeah, I get that. It's crazy now that I'm thinking about it. But, yeah, no. But with everyone, I still feel like a really good connection with Tai Lung just because of like, if you look at his story, it's really unfair to him. Like, he's been training since he was literally like a toddler. And being told like you are the greatest one ever. You're going to be even better than the standards we make. And guess what? He does it. He trains with a passion. During like the flashback scene where they were like thinking about all that happened, he's literally just doing everything he's been taught. He doesn't complain. He just does it. He has that goal.
And he was fed those expectations too.
From like the time he was a toddler. And if you look into like how kids are raised, like what you tell them when they're kids really, really affects them when they're adults. Now imagine being like told like, oh, you're going to get this promotion at work. You're training you to get this promotion. You were going to get this promotion. And then saying, actually, psych, you're not getting the promotion, and we're not really going to tell you why. Right? So then how would 90% of all people feel?
Right.
Like,
or maybe like a kid who maybe you were promised a birthday present. You know, I don't know, I'm trying to relate that to them a little bit.
Oh no, so like in the case of like a kid, be like saying, hey, like let's say with one of our students saying, oh, if you train really hard, you're going to get a black belt. If you train for the next 6 days in a row, 3 hours a day, and put all of your time and effort into this, you're going to get a black belt. And then right when they get to the point where they're about to test for their black belt, let's say they test for black belt and they do exponentially better. Like their standards are just so high, they can throw all these crazy kicks, they can do all these crazy strikes. They know all the forms we teach them. They know all the combination kicks. They can do everything to the absolute perfection. And saying, no, you don't deserve a black belt. And then the student asks us why. We say, don't worry about it. You just don't get a black belt.
We picked someone else.
We picked someone else. And then let's say, like, even better yet, let's just go, like, adding into the entirety of the story. Let's say we're going to choose that new guy who just walked in.
Ooh, and that new guy has no experience
at all.
Oh.
Right? And let's say, like, the new guy who walks in has literally, like, never thrown a kick, never thrown a punch, never done a block, never done anything martial arts related, and saying, that's our new black belt. And saying, this guy is better than you. And that student who's now just about to become a black belt saying, I've just trained for the past however long, let's say 2 years, maybe 3, every day, 6 hours. I'm your best student. I've been winning tournaments for you guys. Like, what's up? Why am I not your next pick? And then saying, nope, this person who has no experience is it. Like, now with those kind of perception of like thinking like with a more real world experience, I would think like it's fair to say that's very unfair and almost uncalled for.
Yeah.
Now imagine like Tyler's been training since he was a toddler, and then he was most definitely an adult by the time he got there. Now his response was a little chaotic, right? He really destroyed the valley just to get to that one goal. But that just shows how much passion and how much he wanted it, right? Like his response, I would say, wasn't like exactly valid, but it was about as close to valid as you can get, especially saying it's a cartoon movie.
Yeah. Valid crash out.
I mean, luckily since it's a DreamWorks production, no one's technically going to die, but still. Actually, that's crazy too. If you think about it, DreamWorks has people like, I mean, any cartoon movie, that's a different storyline, but to kind of bring my idea up to point, is that a lot of people die in cartoons. It's just very subtle on how it happens. But in this case scenario with Kung Fu Panda, they go to the spirit realm, where they don't really die, but you know, they're dead. But still, right? Like, if you look at it Tai Lung's perspective, like, can you not relate to, like, how many times have we all gone through kind of like a job or just life where we think we're supposed to be there just because everyone's been telling us, and then we don't get there?
Ooh, failed expectations. Yeah.
And then like your crash out's not going to be you going through the city of Belvedere destroying everything with your bare hands. Yeah. But it could be more like you go home and then maybe your reactions to certain things aren't the same. You're irritated more. You're more stressed out about stuff. You're angry, right? Your quote unquote crash out is more contained because it's the real world, right? And you understand that as an adult. But still, like, the reason why you're thinking this way is the same way why Tai Lung did it. He just took the more extreme measure because, aka, it's a movie.
Right.
Or not aka, that was the wrong word, but you get it.
No, it's understandable. You can't have if for some reason you do have some form of extremely high expectations for anything, this, that, or the other. You have to understand that if for some if there even is a chance that your expectations might not be met, it's like you should accept that to a certain degree, and like, well, not accepting failure and not like to promote laziness or anything, but to a certain, if you want to think about it on a realistic sense, I get in my car every day to go to work. I don't expect to get in a car accident, but I know that when I get in that car, there is a small chance, you know, someone could hit me, you know, or whatever. Whenever you decide to go do anything, embark in a new relationship or a new job or try to accomplish any goal, there's a small chance that it's not going to work. It's like, are you going to base your whole life upon this now? Because if you do, you probably would respond like Tai Lung did.
No, I agree. And like Tai Lung, it was really unfair to Tai Lung, just even like not even the physical positioning of like how he was as training to be the Dragon Warrior, but the fact that he wasn't given any options to do anything else. Right? He was literally like what was he going to do once like they said no? They didn't really get into that. The fact that they would give him another option, saying like, oh, you could train new students. They didn't give him a new purpose.
Right.
They just said you're not it. Good luck. Which is the one thing I disagree with like Master Oogway and Master Chief for the fact that they literally failed him.
Yes.
They did fail. They told him all this stuff, and they gave him no option. Like no way of like releasing all that anger to like into a new purpose. To where what was his one response? Saying, I know this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to show you guys I can do this really well, even if I had to take what I want by force. It wasn't like Master Chief at no point during the movie said, hey, you have another option, buddy. He said, oh, I'm going to fight you.
Yeah.
Like, he met force with force. Which, as an instructor and as someone who's been in management, if someone was meeting me with force, I don't respond with force. Right? It's the fact that, like, the reason I'm in this management position is because I'm the one who can, quote unquote, not be morally better. I could be wrong, but the fact that I can respond being calm, cool, and collected, no matter what the situation is.
Right.
What do you think, bro?
Pretty much agree with you guys. Like, as you said, Tai Lung was stripped of what he was told he was going to do for his whole life. With Jung's Taekwondo, little backstory with me, I've been doing martial arts at Jung's Taekwondo for 12 years now since I started. That was the only thing I really knew how to do. When I was 17, 18, still in high school, I had a part-time job at Jung's, been doing that my whole life. I could have gone full-time other places like Burger King, McDonald's, get some more money, just a better job, but because I didn't know much about that, from age 10, age 11, I was told I was going to teach. Only thing I knew, so I only stuck with that. So I do agree. Being told you're going to do one thing for the whole life, most of your life, and then all of a sudden it's stopping, it's not. I've been there. It's not a good place to be.
Yeah, and like, so you, if anything, you should relate to Tai Lung more, just because like the options that have been given are very like limited, and it's not like this is the real world, right? And there are ways to get out of that, but the mentality is something I think everyone can agree on. And I think just in the case of like Tai Lung, it's just I think he just was given a bad hand and then given no option getting out, right? Like, and for anybody, whoever does watch this first video, right, or for all maybe our 10 views, hopefully, it'll probably be me, Master Micah, Hedrick, Joseph, our camera lady in the back, and a couple of our other people who know us.
My brothers.
Yeah, exactly. So we might be up to 20 views. That's the goal. That's the goal, guys. Let's get 20 views. I'll be happy with 50 views, but you know. With that being said,
hit the like, comment, and subscribe.
And you stole my line for the end of the video.
Oh, no.
We'll do that again. Joseph can do that again at the end of
Edit
it.
that out. Edit that out.
We don't have the capabilities of editing things out right now. So what you see is basically us going live. And with that being said, though, it's difficult, right? Like the idea of being told that you're going to reach here and then not get it. And for instance, like I've had things in my life, right, where like I've been told that I'm going to reach this one goal, and then I don't get it. And personally, I haven't responded very well. But I didn't respond in like destroying a village. Yeah, I'm kidding. But my response has always been like anger, resentment, despair, I would say. Where it's like, oh, I can't like do this, so what should I do? And just taking things the wrong way.
Yeah.
But our mission here, right, at Cobra Taekwondo is to make our students better and give them the steps and tools where it's like, oh, look, things are not going to go your way, but hey, at least you can kick this bag. But
which is also a great way to get rid of anger,
honestly,
in my opinion.
Facts. Now, let's switch over to Poe, right? How do you think Poe felt like going through all of that? Because he had literally the opposite story of Tai Lung, where he had no idea, didn't train when he was young, and all it was just a dream. Where he was like, it was like kind of like how we think of ourselves as thinking about like superheroes. We're like, yeah, I wish I could be the Flash. I wish I could be like Superman, or Batman, or Captain America, or Thor. I gotta make sure I got even out the Marvel and DC so we don't get hate off the bat, right? But things like that was like, oh, I can do all that stuff, and then being like, no, I can't. It's just a dream, right? Like with me, like with looking at how Poe took it on, he had like all the same feelings that Tai Lung felt, but just in the opposite order, right? He felt despair, resentment, and just like, what am I doing? What am I supposed to do? But he was given options. Like the entire movie is him being given options, right? Of him saying, oh, you can become the Dragon Warrior or you can go home. Like he could choose. He chose which way to go. Versus Tai Lung, who, like we just stated, is just on a straight and narrow path. The entire movie is about Poe making options and choices of staying there one more day.
But Poe made his decision based off of his passion. I feel like, because he loved the five. What were they? The
Furious
Five. He loved them. I mean, he had action figures of them.
Well, yes, but the same can be said about Tai Lung.
That's true.
So when you think about it, their stories are like parallel to each other, just on different ends of the spectrum and going opposite directions. Like Poe, like we just said, Tai Lung's journey started when he was a toddler. Poe's journey started when he was an adult. And the way they grow is the fact that Tai Lung's been told one thing, Poe's been told, oh no, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. And Poe chooses to say, I'm trying. To the point where the only way he is trained is by eating dumplings. Tai Lung, even in the very first like scene where they flash back to when he's a baby with Master Shifu, once he is able to stand, immediate. The moment he can stand is literally him starting to do Kung Fu. Poe has to fight to get to the point where he gets trained. And even when he does start kind of quote unquote training, like remember the scene where he like goes into the training room? He literally gets beat up by everything. The targets beat him. They literally like hit him everywhere. And then the Furious Five beat him up. The Master Shifu beats him up. No one
gets
could
hit from like every angle.
He does. Literally every angle, right? Tai Lung, no one can touch him.
That's true. During that whole like, isn't that when all that craziness was happening with Poe? Tai Lung's just in solitary confinement the whole time.
Yep. And he doesn't train while he's in solitary confinement for X amount of, years.
True.
He's just stuck there.
He kind of came out swinging though.
He did come out swinging.
He came out swinging.
So if you look at like how Poe is, right? Poe's entire journey is about making choices. And yes, like as the main character, his choices are always going to be the harder ones. But think about like in life, if like most people quit after the first sign of confrontation, like, oh, I'm stressed out. Like work is stressing me out, or work is like showing me some conflict or drama. I don't want to be here. I'm gonna quit. It's the fact that like some people can choose and make the harder option, saying like, oh, there's drama, there's confrontation, there's conflict. I'm feeling stressed out, but I'm gonna stay. And now some of the reason why they stay is because most people in this world need money, but still, most people relate to Poe for that reason. But I still understand the version of Tai Lung.
Poe is such a good character. Like, Poe is just like, he's just this random guy who just enters the scene of Kung Fu. And he's like, yeah, what's up? I'm the Dragon Warrior. And everyone's like, what?
Huh? And then everyone's like, I can't believe this. And the fact that all these decisions are just based off Master Uwe pointing, him just going, like he closed his eyes, but really?
Well, he's also told by everyone that he can't simply because of the way that he is. Right? So in the movie, they're like, you can't. You're a panda, bro. You are literally a panda. You can't do this. And he does it anyway and proves everyone wrong. So, like, excuse me. That is one of the, in my opinion, that's one of the coolest things. Is like, he did prove everyone wrong. So, that was pretty cool.
I agree. And like they're both amazing characters, but let's go to Tigers, because that was brought up by you too. How do you feel like she felt during the entire conflict of the movie? Because she honestly, she maintained her like her composure and like level-headedness like throughout the entire movie.
She didn't get angry. No, she got angry.
No, she got angry, but
She got angry, but did she ever like lose her cool? Did she never lose her cool?
she kept it very subtle. It wasn't like whatchamacallit, where she had like a full-blown crash out like Master Shifu. She never went out of her way to like beat Poe up. She just had the ultimate belief that he would fail and then she would take the mantle.
Yeah, I felt like, I don't know, she maybe took just a more subtle approach to the
Like
situation.
being very passive aggressive.
A little bit more passive aggressive, which might be the the smarter decision, I guess, maybe in that situation. I don't know, I'm talking about a cartoon here, but talking about a tiger potentially being jealous of a panda, but I mean, hey, it's like, why do I feel like it's like, for me, I feel like it's like at work. Like you've got like some like HR ladies who have been there for a long time, right? And then there's dummy me who's coming in with all my 100 questions going, all right, so where is this going? Where is that going?
And they're just like,
and they're just like, oh.
as someone who's worked HR and given the same spiel to like 40 different people, and it's all the same question, I feel that in regards to the old HR ladies that Joseph's bringing.
We love the HR
We love
ladies.
HR.
We
We
love
do love
HR.
HR. Currently at this school, I'm the HR, so I get it, right? And for anyone who does know Joseph and may work with him, he asks me 100 questions every day.
Oh yeah.
So I feel your pain. Or
Sue, I hope you watch this someday.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But with that being said, right, I think Tigress, how do I word this correctly? She took a very mature way of going about her responses to Poe. And even with Tai Lung, right? Like, I don't think anything she did was super, like, that personal. Essentially, like, Master Shifu took that personally, right? Like, his entire mission was to make Poe quit, right? And then the Tigress, her was like, he's going to quit. There's no question about it. He's just going to quit. So she just waited it out to the point where then she did trust Poe. But that's down the line in other movies.
Yeah, no, I thought she was cool, and like going along with that, like she didn't step on his. No, I don't know. Maybe they didn't. They were still able to work together, You know what I mean? Like it wasn't to the point where they fought each other. They were still able to, I guess maybe just agree to disagree, and continue to like just work towards their common goal.
Yeah, because like think about also the goals. Like the Furious Five goal wasn't to become a Dragon Warrior. Theirs was to support the Dragon Warrior and defend the valley.
Right.
So their goal wasn't really like in conflict with Poe's. She just thought there would be a better person, understandably, because like I think and honestly going back to real life scenarios, I think we've all been there where we've had a manager where we're like, this guy doesn't, or her, this guy or gal does not know what they're doing. Why are they in this position? I could do better than that. Why am I not here?
Right.
And then when you're like in different scenarios, like let's say more confrontation scenarios, you're like, oh man, I'm glad I'm not in this position. Right? So I get that, right? But she still took a very passive, aggressive tone with Poe. So I don't know if she's always in the right, but I think she handled it better than almost everyone else. But in case with that, right, with the Furious Five, they didn't really do anything to bring down Poe or bring him up. They were just kind of there. You could say they were kind of an obstacle for Poe to get over, but generally speaking, like during the movie when Poe's stuffing his face with dumplings, they're all there cheering him on. Maybe making fun of him more than like, cheering him on, but they're still there. They're just an entity that doesn't really affect how everything goes. Even like you could say like, oh yeah, they went and tried to face Tai Lung and like, stall him. That didn't really do anything.
No.
Tai Lung still beat them all. And they really proved that the Furious Five in this movie were basically useless. They did nothing to help. They were just there.
They were just there to look cool. Fair enough.
So, anything else to add on?
Not too much. One thing I would say with comparing Tigers to Tai Lung, come from different but similar backstories, but it's all about how they use their passion. With Tai Lung, his passion was really just with becoming the best, whereas Tigress, her passion was more of those martial arts, which is why she didn't really like Poe as much. Not because he was the Dragon Warrior, but more so, he was more of an insult to Kung Fu at that point.
Right. And I still agree. I agree with that statement, but I think I would go back. I would still stay by my original statement of saying that their goals are different. Right. Like, but that brings me to a good point because like Tiger's entire purpose was trying to like stand out and impress Master Shifu. And honestly, I think the real bad guy of the story is Master Shifu. But we can talk about that in our video because that's like a 35-minute rant by itself. But
why Master Shifu is actually the bad guy?
He honestly is. Actually, it's true. This is our first video. So Master Shifu is the bad guy because think about it. He raised Tai Lung from the beginning, then basically told him no, and instead of giving him another option to like better himself, he said, nope, I'm gonna fight you. And then he ultimately lost anyways, and then Master Ugo had to step in. He takes on Tigress and the Furious Five, basically neglects them, saying, oh, like being the old grumpy master, and basically just says, oh, cool, I'm gonna train you, but I'm not gonna give you a purpose as to why. Like during Tigress' flashback, Master Shifu doesn't like put him the same amount of passion to Tigers or any of them. He then gets on a new Dragon Warrior who his master Uwe, appoints and basically neglects him and says, oh, just talks down to him the entire time, just trying to get him to quit, which on like a mentor / instructor level is something that we should never do. And then when Tai Lung shows up again, his immediate reaction isn't, oh, let me try to help him, I'm gonna fight him. Shifu, in my opinion, if you look at it, is really like the cause of all these problems.
Bad management.
Honestly, yes, facts. But still, even with the bad management, like he's affecting people's lives on like such a big scale that it can't be helped, right? He's the reason why everything's happening, and in turn, Master Ugo is also kind of just egging it all on. He's not even saying, oh, this is wrong, Master Shifu, you should fix this. He's just like, I'm gonna sit here as a turtle and just watch it all unfold. And now you could say like based off the other movies where we get a little bit more backstory into like the prophecies and all that like it was always meant to be that way. But just based off that one movie alone, before all the other movies and backstory were created, Master Shifu is not a good person. He's really not.
Dang, I did not think about it like that. Pretty interesting.
He's the root of all the problems. If you look at it from the very beginning, like going back before we meet Po with Tai Lung and Master Shifu, he just ingrained into Tai Lung that, hey, you're the best, you're going to be the best, I will make it that way. And then when it didn't happen that way, he just was like, well, my bad. Oh, you're responding the way you're going to respond? I'm okay, I'm going to fight you. I'm not going to try to do what I've just been doing for the past X amount of years to mentor you. And then when he gets a new student, he's like, oh, I'm angry because I failed. Now I'm going to reflect that on you. And then he does it again with the next 4 students he brings in. And then ultimately one more time with Po. But it's off by like on the flip side, it's really cool to see how Master Shifu gets out of that hole into like where like the next movie she's in, right, with Po. He's actually like the master and mentor that he needs to be. Right, so like he's not all bad, but for this one movie in case in point, he is. He's not a good person. He gets there where he needs to be because of his story arc. But that's a really long time from the point of him being a student under Master Uwe to being him a master before even meeting Po. Like all this could have been avoided. Now I know this is a hypothetical to a cartoon movie, which is a great story and movie by the way, but still, if you're looking at it from like a retrospective view, he's not a good person.
Yeah, I see that. It's kind of crazy actually.
Yeah, no, when we all rewatch Kung Fu Panda, you're gonna watch Master Shifu and be like, oh, I see what you're doing. But, yeah, anything else to add on?
Don't do the splits inside your parents' cabinet and steal the cookies in the top.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I was thinking you were bringing that in a completely different direction before I remember that was a scene from the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, what he's doing.
I thought that was like a personal thing you've done. I was like, oh wow, that's kind of interesting.
Don't do the splits inside your parents' cabinet to climb up and steal the cookies.
Master Micah?
Well, just one more important topic along with what we said. One thing with the movie that is very good for life taking away is parents. Master Shifu, as we have discussed, or more so you've discussed your beliefs on, he wasn't really the best parent. He's like from those movies you see, hey, my kid's an athlete, he's gonna win first place, nothing else, like those strict Asian parents. Now you look at Mr. Ping, he wants Po to do what he does, but he doesn't force him, he gives him the choice. And if you remember in the movie, Po actually comes back to his dad and is going to leave with him, but it's his dad who tells him, hey, secret ingredient is nothing. You don't need to know this to do this. He gives Po the confidence and encouragement needed to become the Dragon Warrior.
Actually, no, we completely forgot about Mr. Ping. Mr. Ping is like, I think still one of the best characters in the entire franchise. Even like, I know we're skipping ahead a couple movies, but when he meets his other dad, sorry, spoiler, but for those who haven't seen Kung Fu Panda, it's been out for like almost, what, a decade now?
Feels like
over a decade, something like that. But anyways, Mr. Ping, amazing father. Like, no matter what choices, like he still shows visible concern for Po. But at never point does he say like, oh, actually no, that's not true. He does say, you shouldn't do this, you should stay home. But that's just visible concern. He never like degrades it by saying like, oh, like the way Shifu does, saying, oh, you need to quit and leave. Once he like sees that Po's doing well and he has a passion for it, Mr. Ping's just like, go for it. You got it. Take your wings and fly. And Mr. Ping goes through a lot of hardships too. He takes on a panda.
Yeah.
He adopts a panda.
I want a panda.
No, you don't.
I do. I've always wanted a panda.
If you ever get a panda, let me know how that goes.
It would be my friend. We would roll together. And I would feed it bamboo.
Okay. Well, that's a discussion for another video. But with that being said, Mr. Ping is like I think an amazing like character for some, and he's a single dad too. On top of that,
True.
he's taking care of a panda that always eats. And let's face it, Poe in the beginning of the movie is like not the greatest person in the world. He's late. He doesn't, take his job serious. He doesn't do like he really has no goal in his head. He's just there. He's kind of just floating. And then finally, when Poe does get like a passion, Mr. Ping's like, "You got it," and then he brags about it.
He supports him.
He supports him like the entire time. Where he's like, I don't know if it's the first one. I think it's in the second one where he's like serving the noodles for like him.
Second one is where that happens.
Yeah, the second one, but that's skipping forward. We'll talk about Kung Fu Panda 2 in our video.
I have to watch that one again. It's been too long.
We should all watch it together so that way we can actually be tracking whatever happens. But I think that's good enough for our first video. I hope everyone enjoys our video. You can hit them with that line now.
Make sure you hit the like, comment, subscribe. Also hit the notification bell for more fire content from the Co-Brothers Taekwondo
Podcast.
The Noodle Dream Pole!
Yep. All right, guys.